Okay, we'll get this started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Might announce what meeting we're at, planning and zoning.
Oh,
Yeah.
Planning and zoning originally scheduled for Monday, and I apologize for not being able to be here. I was caught in weather, but this is rescheduled from Monday till today.
July 14th, 2021.
All right, Pledge of Allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
Indivisible, with liberty and
justice for all.
All right, David, do you want to do roll call?
Yes, we do have a quorum today. We have 4 members present: Wyeth Irvin, Doyle Riley, Kathy Barger, and then joining via Zoom is Chasten Parks. You can see him at the top of the screen, up on both screens here in the room.
Righty. Okay, Chasten, can you hear us okay?
Sure can. Can you hear me?
Got you loud and clear, thanks. Okay, the consent agenda, has everyone had a chance to look at June's meeting minutes and entertain any issues or concerns we had with those minutes?
I make a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Second it. Got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay.
Might be good, since we have one member on the phone, it might be good, we can do a roll call on any vote too.
Okay. Dave, you want to do a roll call?
Sure. Wyeth Irvin?
Aye.
Doyle Riley?
Aye.
Kathy Barger?
Aye.
Chasten Parks?
Aye.
Thanks.
Okay, motion carries. All right, next we'll move on to old business, Washington Heights Townhomes, rezoning, I'll put my glasses on here. 201 and 203 West Washington Street to RP3 medium density residential plan district. It was tabled from the June meeting. David, do you have any staff report to that?
Yes, first of all, this is a rezoning, so there's a public hearing element that was held at the June meeting. We met on Monday. We did not see any, other than the applicants, we didn't see additional members of the public attend on Monday's meeting, so we felt comfortable at least trying to reschedule today's meeting for today.
Okay.
The public hearing at the Board of Aldermen meeting, originally scheduled for June, was rescheduled to July 19th, waiting for a planning and zoning recommendation. So the timing of today's meeting works out very well for staying on that schedule.
Okay.
For the Board of Aldermen. Michael Heredia is in the audience online, and his team of architects are also present if there are some additional questions. I won't go through all of my staff report like I did last time, but I do want to point out changes to the plan. Based on the discussion at last month's meeting, the board had some concerns about parking because the units, I think, were 1,900 square feet, pretty large, 3 bedrooms. And then the board also wants some additional information on site lighting and on trash enclosure. If you have looked at the plan, if you'd like me to, I can do a share and maybe at least share for now. Let me go to share screen and we'll pull up the layout, and I can point out the changes that we've seen from last month. I think this page works pretty well. So this is a site layout. They have modified the plan. If you remember, there were 10 units in their previous plan in June. There were 2 fourplex buildings along the south side of Washington Street. They have removed a duplex building that was located to the back of lot 203, so the western side of the property. There was a duplex building that has been removed and replaced with 8 parking spaces, 1 parking space equivalent for each of the dwelling units that remain on the property. If we move down to a couple of pages down, we can see the building elevations. This is a floor plan sheet. We've got 2 stories. They've been reduced from 3-story down to 2-story. The first floor includes the parking garage. North is to the top of the page. So on that first level, you got your entry porch, you've got your living room and kitchen area, and to the back you have the 1-car driveway, and there's a restroom down on that main level, and then the stairs that go up then to the second level. The second floor includes a master bedroom, 2 additional bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, laundry, and then off of the back of the unit there is a deck. And if we go to the building elevations, we've pulled up on the screen, the building elevations. This sheet is the back of the building, so you can see the garage and a back door. And if you notice in between the door and the garage, there's a decorative wall light. So that provides light on the outside of the units on the back. And then that second level attaches to the master bedroom. There's a door and the deck also above the garage entry. And then this would be the front of the units. So very similar last time, just 2 stories instead of 3. So they've got a mix of the vertical lap siding on one unit, and they alternate with brick on the other units.
David, so are these a little bit wider then, because
They're the same width. Yeah, the previous were 20 feet, and these are also 20 feet.
All right.
And I think lengthwise, I think they're still the same at 45 feet. I don't remember the length on the 3-story, but I think it's the same, so they just removed 1 floor. If you were to do the math, we don't really count garage space as living area, and I think with these new units, it ends up being 1,500 to 1,550 square feet per unit, as opposed to 1,900, 1,950 square feet.
Okay.
Okay. I didn't point out on the site plan page, I did comment on the parking area. It's hard to see. It'll be hard for me to point out with this little hand, but we've got 2 parking lot street lights for lighting in that parking lot, and there is a cut sheet in the packet that shows what that fixture would look like. It's an LED. It's shielded to shine the light down rather than up. We see similar lights, I think, in the parking lot of Price Chopper. It's pretty similar, or somewhere in the shops. Also, there's a trash enclosure on the west end of the parking lot as well. Okay, the setbacks on the buildings would be the same. So I'm going to undo the share. That way when we get to comments, the camera will flip people. Front setback along Washington Street is reduced from 30 feet to 5 feet, just like the previous plan, and also along Clark Street, a setback of 10 feet from 30 feet. The side yard setback to the west and the rear yard setback would meet our standard setback requirements. In June, I also talked about some other staff recommendations, including replatting of the property. It's currently 3 tracts. Staff recommends it be combined into 1 lot. Installation of a sanitary sewer extension to serve the property. There's a manhole out in the middle of Washington Street, so then it makes sense to have just 1 connection to disturb Washington Street, and then tie the 2 buildings into that little extension. And if for some reason maybe it goes well and there's potential for some additional units nearby, maybe that sewer would conserve additional, but that's not in the plan today. The plan today is just 2 4-plex townhome structures. And then also a small widening along Clark Street. It is a narrow street. The widening wouldn't be very, very wide, just a few feet for that west side of Clark Street. Just like last time, staff recommends approval of the rezoning to RP3 with concept plan with the following conditions. The amended RP3 plan is approved as presented with the following. Reduced setbacks of 5 feet along Washington Street and 10 feet along Clark Street are approved as requested. Widening along the west side of Clark Street. Add a sidewalk connection from each of the units to the Washington Street sidewalk. Submit a plan for providing water service and sewer service for review by the Public Works and City Engineer. Sanitary sewer main extension from Washington Street south into the property. 2 additional revisions recommended by P&Z if there are any. 3, submit a final plat to combine the 3 tracts into 1 lot. 4, submit engineering plans if applicable for review by the city engineer. 5, pay the engineering review fee if applicable. And 6, develop the project in compliance with all city codes, conditions, requirements, plans, and payment of fees and/or taxes. This application will be forwarded for a public hearing at the Board of Aldermen meeting next Monday. Again, we have Michael Heredia in the audience on Zoom like he was last time, and then he's got a couple of his team members available to answer our questions.
Two questions I have, David, you may know, between the north edge of the sidewalk on Washington Street and the actual street. Is that sod?
But sidewalks are actually on right-of-way. What will be in that area?
Sidewalk in the street.
Well, that's probably a good question for Michael already. You know, they will disturb ground when they develop the site. We're probably going to see sod, installed around the building.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I don't know if you heard that question, but between the north edge of the sidewalk and the street, what is that gonna look like there?
I am not, I'm on a phone right now in a car, so I'm not looking at the full screen of it. From my understanding, the last conversations I've had with David was in the surrounding areas for help with the drainage, was doing some type of sod just to help with the water. My team might be able to better answer the question as they've done all the layouts with the drainage and some of the plant fixtures around.
Yeah, it's probably, well, for one, Doyle, it will depend on what is disturbed as far as the ground.
Right.
If they stay out of the right-of-way, then there will be no change.
Okay.
From that north side, that sidewalk out.
That was my concern.
They will replace the sidewalk along, Washington Street sidewalk will be replaced. He does have, Kate is an engineer, and she might be able to answer that question as far as, maybe how much the site elevation might move vertically.
Kate, are you on? Can you hear me?
She's on mute.
Yeah, it's on the grading plan, and I anticipate it would be sod in between the sidewalk and the building.
Okay, that's my question. I was more concerned about drainage and so forth, but that's my question for now.
I don't really have any questions. I just want to thank Michael and his team for working so hard to get our answers that we asked for last week. I think this is still a great plan. I didn't have a problem necessarily with the three-story, but these look really nice, and they're certainly going to fill a need in Kearney. So
I agree.
My only concern is water runoff, because that was voiced by one of the residents nearby. And I just want to ensure that when we look at the plan, because Clark Street has no ditch. The drainage off of Clark Street does not look all that fabulous, and I'm worried with all that concrete all feeding to Clark Street that it's going to cause a problem. Because a lot of that drainage now goes west, basically into the railroad tracks area.
Mm-hmm.
So as long as that's addressed.
Now, part of that, what I remember in that conversation in June, had to do with water in basements.
Yep.
Which is probably a little different story than surface runoff. They may have an issue with, a foundation issue or a sump pump issue, which would probably contribute more to that situation. But yeah, we do understand.
Yeah, that's just my concern, an abundance more of concrete, makes more runoff head in that direction. And there are no ditches. Other than that, I like it.
Absolutely. Justin, do you have any questions or concerns, issues?
No, my biggest concern earlier was the parking, and they've addressed that, and I agree with Kathy. I kind of like the three-story, but this looks nice, and I don't have any issues with it at all.
Okay. No other comments? I'd entertain a motion.
Make make a motion to pass the Washington Heights Townhouse rezoning from C to R P3 with concept plan with staff comments.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. Dave, you gonna take roll?
Yeah, we do take a roll call vote. Chaston Parks,
Yes. Aye.
Kathy Barger,
Aye.
Wyatt Irvin,
Aye.
Doyle Riley.
Aye.
It passes 4-0.
Okay, next we'll,
Say, thank you, Mike, and the rest of your group. This will be scheduled for the Board of Aldermen for public hearing and consideration next Monday at 6:30 p.m. The Board of Aldermen meeting. You can join by Zoom or in person, and we'll get that agenda packet out to you at the end of the week.
Sounds great. Thank you guys very much.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you.
Five, new business, Meadows at Greenfield, 7th plat, final plat. David, you got
Yes, and Jerry Seiler is present. We do have him here with us tonight. Jerry Seiler represents GJM Development, which submitted the Meadows at Greenfield 7th plat, final plat, proposing to subdivide 16 acres into 37 single-family lots and 5 open space tracts. One of those open space tracts would be Homeowners Association open space. The other tracts are located along Fishing River Trail and would be dedicated to the city as part of the trail property and trail improvements. The lot layout is consistent with the amended P-District plan for phases 7 through 9 that was approved in April by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So this is the, I would say, the southern and western area. Fishing Lane was the name of the street. Phases 8 and 9 would make the connections back into the first plat and over along 33 Highway portion of the Greenfield Development Project. The amended plan also included approval of some reduced setbacks for the lots that back up to the Fishing River Trail, which would be lots, in this phase, lots 134 and lots 188 to 207. Staff recommends that those setbacks, those reduced setbacks be identified on the final plat, which will help the builders, it will help city staff, it will help future owners to know where their setback is. Otherwise, people may think it's our standard 30-foot, and then we have a question or an issue with that later. So it would be helpful to have that shown on the plat. Engineering plans have been, engineering plans were previously submitted, they've been reviewed, and revisions are being worked on. Hopefully they can get resubmitted before too long and approved so he can move forward, I think, in their plan in later this summer or early in the fall. The plans also include an emergency access road at the east end of Fishing Lane, which was requested by the Board of Aldermen at the preliminary plan, amended plan meeting. I guess that was in April. That was something also requested by the fire district as well, in case we end up Fishing Lane and Foxtail Drive would end up being a pretty long cul-de-sac. If there ever was an accident or fire, it would help if there was an emergency access on the back way.
And that's just temporary until the
Right.
building built out.
Right, yeah, so in the next phase 8 or phase 9, that would be removed and replaced with the future street connection. You don't see, that's in the engineering plans. I didn't include that sheet in your plan. I just want to identify that that was included in the plans. Subdivision agreement has been submitted for the payment of the parkland fee as part of the building permits, which is a standard agreement that we get with all builders and developers. Staff recommends approval of the Meadows of Greenfield 7th plat, final plat, with following conditions. 1, submit a revised plat per the following. Show the 20-foot rear yard setback on lots 134 and lots 188 through 207. Any additional revisions if necessary. Submit a DNR land disturbance permit. Install and maintain sediment and erosion controls. Submit covenants and restrictions document for review, which will end up being just a one-page or a few-page annexation document into the existing CCRs. Payment of the parkland fee, which will be handled at building permit. Submit a maintenance bond, upon acceptance of public improvements, submit as-built drawings after public improvements are completed, for the final plat within 1 year, record the CCR documents and ordinance with the final plat, and develop the site in compliance with all city codes, conditions, requirements, plans, and payment of fees and taxes. This application will be before the Board of Aldermen for approval, again, on July 19th, next Monday. If anybody has questions, we've got Jerry online too. We haven't heard his voice yet, but we know he's there.
Jerry, can you hear us?
He might be saying something on mute, but that's okay. Don't know. We know he's there, though.
Okay, David, you might be able to answer this question.
Okay, I'll try to.
On the tracks B, C, D,
Yes.
what is the purpose of those again?
Those are along the Fishing River Trail.
That
So,
go up to the trail itself?
in that general area. So we have Fishing River, you've been on the trail, I know you have, you like to run it. So we have along the trail, areas just outside the pavement where we mow, we maintain, we have trees that we don't want removed, or there might be swales for, water runoff. These tracks include some of those areas that we maintain as part of the trail.
So city will maintain, still mowing?
Yes, yes. The way it helps us is it keeps somebody's, if somebody wants to build a fence in their backyard and then they survey, well, then you have a fence right up against the trail in an area that we've been mowing for a while, so.
What is the gaps there between, like,
Like a little box back. That is where there is a stormwater pipe that goes under the trail.
Gotcha, okay.
There are a few of those periodically up and down the trail. If you'd like, I've not shared, maybe I can share and get the final plat on,
Yeah, I can see it, fine.
at least get it on the screen for a minute. So we'll do that. It will look like a busy drawing because we take a big 24 by 36 sheet of paper and shrink it down to 8.5 by 11. So this is the layout, up at the north end. It connects into Meadows at Greenfield, fourth plat, at Foxtail Drive. This area here is Old Trail Run, which would be Greenfield's second plat. This large finger shape is the open space that will be part of the homeowners association. And then as Doyle was pointing out, we've got the double line that wraps around the south side, and that represents the different open space tracks that will be dedicated for the Fishing River Trail. If we go to the aerial map, I try my best to outline as close as possible, but it's a little bigger area. You can see this is the existing pond with the lift station. Swimming pools at the south end of Prairie Creek Drive. Prairie Creek Drive is the Meadows Greenfield first plat, and we have 33 Highway on the right side of this drawing.
The temporary road that's down the gravel road off to the west of 33, is that part of the getting to this?
That's that emergency.
It would be, that would be an emergency access for fire only, fire and police only. I think the plan shows it will be gated at each end, and the fire district will be provided a key or combination where they can open that if they need to.
Okay.
We hope they don't need to. The chances are probably slim, but you never know, and it's part of how they operate.
I think
Yeah.
you'll be right there where that fence is.
Yeah, there's an existing farm entrance on 33 Highway that they'll use.
I could just see that if it's not gated being a
Yes.
shortcut that would
Yes.
track.
Yes, or the mutters, they, hop out of the street and go running through the field. Exactly. The gate idea was more of Jerry's idea because that was his concern. I'll unshare this.
Jasper, you got anything to add to this?
No, I really don't. That emergency road was, glad to hear about that.
Yeah.
Jerry, can we hear you? Can you say hi?
Hi, you hear me?
Yes, sir.
We heard you.
Yeah, the
Thank you.
emergency road was just a foul up in communication and we just didn't communicate real good. So once we all figured out it's have to be there, it was a no brainer. It was engineered and we're gonna gate it off and we putting it in.
That's fine. I just didn't understand exactly what it was, but I appreciate the thought. That was good. All right. I would entertain a motion. If we have no more comments. Yes?
I make a motion to accept Meadows at Greenfield 7th plat, final plat, with the, staff recommendations as presented.
A second.
I got a motion and a second. All those in favor, David?
We'll do a roll call? Yep, we'll do a roll call. Kathy Barger,
Aye.
Doyle Riley,
Aye.
Wyatt Irvin,
Aye.
Chaston Parks.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Jerry. This will
Thank you, guys.
This will be on the board agenda for Monday night, 6:30.
Thank everybody.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Any significant on the enclosures there? Any significance you're seeing?
No, just standard. I think, we were kind of on pace with last year.
Oh, yeah, but it's 4 instead of.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
But 28% over the year is still
Still low, yeah.
good.
I think I figured we would probably hit about the same.
When-
But when, you know, material prices and everything go up, there might be a point at which people say, I've had enough. I think,
I did hear lumber prices, and of course,
yeah,
our esteemed colleague isn't here this evening, but I
Yeah.
think lumber prices are
I've read that too.
kind of maybe done,
They're starting to drop.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Nothing else. I take a motion for adjournment.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chaston, for